And how he put Schneiderlin coming off an injury down 2-0. I thought I thought he signed his tombstone with that one. That was brutal.
Oh, even Thornton commented after one of the games. He was like, "I'm glad he didn't put in Luongo. He was playing great."
Right.
On Schneider for a second, he hasn't been great. I mean, he's been okay in New Jersey, and yes, he's not playing for a particularly good team, but he hasn't been that good. I mean, he's looked decent, but he's also looked average. So we'll see. Only time will tell as to whether Corey Schneider develops into the goalie many think that he's capable of. But Vigneault definitely it was a really controversial move doing that in the playoffs last year. With that said, we weren't winning that series anyways. San Jose was just so much better than us, so I don't think that was really a factor too much. But it was definitely controversial. And leading off what you were saying before, Vigneault doesn't work that well with young guys. And yes, the Rangers do have some veteran presence, such as Brad Richards and Ryan Callahan and Rick Nash and Lundqvist. But, I mean, there are a lot of young players on that team. That is still a pretty young team. I mean, your second line or arguably first line center is Derek Stepan, who's only had, a few seasons in the NHL. Chris Kreider's still technically a rookie, or he's second full year.
Del Zotto, right?
McDonough, like your top three defensemen, Stahl, Del Zotto, McDonough are still all young guys. Like, I've always had an issue with how Vigneault treats his young players. I mean, I won't say he was the reason Hodgson asked for a trade, but his lack of ice time with Hodgson definitely didn't help, especially considering Hodgson was playing so well for us. So, I mean, Vigneault and young guys have always been an issue for me, and I'm wondering if that's carrying over into New York, and if the Rangers are also feeling Vigneault's wrath of just not wanting to play his young talent. And I'm wondering. I don't know. I don't watch the Rangers enough, other than what I see on center ice. Like, I don't watch the Rangers enough to really comment fully, because I'm not there. But, I mean, it seems to me like the same issues he was having in Vancouver are carrying over to New York.
Well, we should both do that as a bit of homework and maybe check up a little more often on the New York Rangers before we grill them too much. But I would agree with you about the young players, and the worst part about it is it's a young game in the NHL. I mean, as much as your veterans help out, your veterans are really there to guide the young players along into becoming better. And your young players, especially now we're finding the prime of most players' career is between 25 and 30. Goalies a little bit later, but realistically, you got to play the young guys a lot if you want to win, and I can't say, like you can't, 100% that's the reason the Rangers are doing so poorly, but I would suspect strongly that that's right, is that either he's not getting along with them in the dressing room, there's maybe some friction there, or they're just not getting the ice time they should be getting. But
we should also mention that Lundqvist has not been good. I mean, he's normally Mr. Sturdy back there, but his positioning has been very wonky. I'm wondering how much of that has
I wonder if it's a little bit of Ryan Miller syndrome there, maybe just stopping, enough already. Like, I'm going to post 3 Vezina contending seasons in a row, and we're still not going to make the playoffs, and we're like, come on, like, I'm pulling my weight, that can drag on you. And not to say Lundqvist would give up, but mentally, it just happens. Subconsciously, it just happens when you have to play night in and night out for a team that won't play for you. Like, why do you want to play for them?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he's definitely getting frustrated. I'm wondering how much of it still has to do with the gear. I mean, you think by now he would have probably figured it out, but, I mean, Lundqvist's game is so much positioning, right? Like, it's so much about his positioning. He's so perfect back there positioning-wise, or that's how he's always made his living. He's just so positionally sound, and all of a sudden the gear that you've used in the past is no longer there, and you really do. A lot of goalies, not just him, but him especially, you really see holes in his game, and I mean that literally and figuratively. Like, he's really looking like he has to figure it out back there. I don't know if it's get a new goalie coach or reinvent his system slightly, but he hasn't been great. So, I mean, we won't all blame it on Vigneault. But
and the other thing, and I'm actually going to. I was just kind of pointed out, but I'm really going to point it out now because Price is doing well. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Lundqvist is one of the taller goalies in the NHL.
Yeah. He's 6'3", 6'4".
Padding was reduced by a percentage, not by a specific size.
Yeah.
So the taller you are, the bigger your pads are, the more pads you lost in the changes this season.
Yeah.
So, and in some cases, that's like 2 or 3 inches off the top of your pad. Mm-hmm. So, would not be surprised if that was affecting Lundqvist significantly. And sometimes you get a little bit relied on your equipment. I know they had the baggy jerseys cut down a couple of years back as well. So there's other factors at play here, and I think that might be messing with Lundqvist. Not again, I want to check out some more Rangers games, but if that is the case, then hats off to Carey Price, who's obviously handling that change quite well at 6'5". His pads would have been reduced quite a bit, and playing very well with a shutout on the year already. So
Price looks good. Him and Luongo definitely are. In my eyes, there's still definitely 1, 2 in no particular order for your Team Canada starters. I definitely would put those two guys at the top. They're both playing very well.
There would have been some other conversations maybe before the puck dropped this season on Cam Ward, or if you really want to throw stones far, Marc-Andre Fleury. But
actually, you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing the third goalie,
Crawford.
No, actually, the nod, just because of how ridiculous he's been playing, unexpectedly so, is Jonathan Bernier might get the third start. He might get the guy. I mean, which, remember, the third goalie in the Olympics does not play. So, I mean, it's really more of an honorary title, but...
and he gets to lose sleep by flying to Russia, so that can't hurt my
your Habs,
hopes for the hurt my hopes for the Leafs.
Yeah, but I mean he has been awesome. He like the Leafs finally have a goalie, finally have a good goalie. We've talked enough about the Rangers. This segues well into the Leafs, which we were going to talk about next. The Leafs haven't had a goalie this good.
Don't skip the Olympics too much though, because I did want to say that. I agree with you that Luongo and Price are the front runners, and I was really happy that maybe Carey Price has a bit of an edge in that category now because of the Montreal-Vancouver game.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
So,
but a lot of it, honestly, is going to come down to the last. A lot of
people, I think that from what I read in the media and from what I could tell on social networking and stuff, is kind of like Price was kind of the favorite after Luongo didn't play so well, and that was 2 seasons ago. The last full season we had, ending it, that everyone was kind of on Price's shoulders, and then we had the shortened season, and people started to sway back to Luongo quite a bit. I think actually, especially after his performance in the playoffs before the Canucks got knocked out by the Sharks. And I think it's swaying a bit back now. So it's nice to see that a lot of people counted him out, and that gets him right back in it.
Well, it'll honestly, man, I think it's going to come down to the wire. Like they probably won't make the decision until like a week before.
They'll probably make it at camp, or if they have a short camp, don't they?
I think there's like 2 or 3 practices or something like that.
And then there's 1 or 2 preseason games as well. Is there not?
Maybe they'll do like a battle royale and make them fight for it in like a cage match or something. just so I could hear that music. And Babcock has to be singing the music. He has to be actually singing it. I'm still terrified of that man, by the way. Okay, well, let's talk about Toronto and how awesome Bernier has been doing. He's been their best goalie, the best goalie they've had since, I can't even remember, like Felix Botvin, I don't know, Curtis Joseph. Like, they haven't had a great goalie in so long. Not that Reimer hasn't been good, and he's actually recently, the last couple of games, he's been really good as well. He's looked great. You can totally tell he's like, my job is really up in the air right now. I better fight for it back. And Reimer has played well because of that, because he knows his job is, kind of been lost. But Bernier has looked awesome. Like everything everyone thought he would be. Other than Schneider a couple years back, probably the best, hottest young goalie in the NHL that wasn't a starter. And Bernier is looking like the goalie people predicted he would be. And he looks great. He looks so comfortable in net. He's a huge reason to Toronto's success, who, let's pull up my standings here. They're second behind Tampa. Well, they're tied for first and with 4 teams, but technically they're second right now.
They're also crushing the Oilers right now, 3-0. Well, it's on its way, 3-0 after 2. So you can throw 2 more points up there, making them outright first in the East.
Yeah, you score 3 goals against the Oilers, and you're probably going to win based on how they're playing right now.
Right?
Gagne is back tonight.
We're about to. We can. That's a nice segue to Edmonton. So let me know when you're finished with the list, and we'll go.
Gagne is back though. Gagne is back. Tonight, which is...
Oh, and Kessel's got 2 goals, too, in this game tonight.
Oh, well. But yeah, Toronto's just looked awesome. I mean, there's no denying it. They got a good squad. They're proving last year. We talked about this last show, but they're proving last year wasn't a fluke. And they got a good team. They will go on a playoff. They'll go on a bit of a run. And a lot of it has to do with Bernier. So, I mean, it's really cool for Toronto to finally have a winning team, and I expect it to continue. I don't think they will falter too much. Whether they stay second the entire year is up in the air, but they'll definitely have a good year. And I'm looking in first right now. What's going on with Tampa Bay? I mean, yes, Stamkos is playing out of this world right now.
Well, okay, now I wouldn't say I'm gonna change that sentence for you, because we always ask what's going on with Tampa Bay when they're at the bottom of the standings, because we're like, it's Stamkos and St. Louis. You have the most goals in the NHL. You're first and second in scoring. How are you not in the playoffs? How are you not?
Well, now they're in first place.
Now, why are we asking questions? This is where it should be. Stamkos and St. Louis are incredible players.
Yeah, but that's it. That's all they got. They got no depth. They're not that. Look at their roster. It's not that good of a team.
Well, maybe we're getting back to the old days when all you need is somebody who can put away 60 goals in a season, and that'll get you at least into the playoffs. But I'm loving it. It clearly, it's going to be a tough run for them, because they're not, as you said, a deep team. They're not a physical team. That's what the NHL we're in nowadays. So all the luck to them, and I want to see this continue, because this is hockey. This is hockey. Putting pucks in the net. They're among the top teams with goals for. I mean, next to obviously San Jose. That's what hockey's about. Like fast-paced, north-south, puck in the net, passing plays. They exemplify that, especially that pair, exemplify what we want to watch, what we get excited for. We don't watch it for UFC. The hits are definitely awesome, but we want to see the puck in the back of the net, and that's what Stamkos is good at. So I love seeing them at the top, and I hope they stick around. Obviously, not going to win the East, but I hope they stick around near the top anyway.
Yeah, no, we'll see. I mean, I still am not 100% sold on them in a playoff position at the end of the year, but I mean, if Stamkos plays like this all year, they very well might be. He has the ability to carry a team on his back, like few others in the league. So, I mean, and St. Louis, I shouldn't forget him. But, I mean, the two of them have the ability to carry a team, and they're showing it right now. Now, we've spent a lot of time on the East, so let's quickly move over to the West here. You wanted to talk about the Oilers real quickly?
Just like, come on. Like, Colorado, we've been ragging on for being young and being at the bottom, and how they're overdue. But the Edmonton Oilers are so overdue, it's ridiculous. We've been talking about this team since Taylor Hall and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins went first overall. I mean, we've been talking about this team since Canada World Junior last won a gold medal. Like, come on, like, get off 14th in the West here and make some moves. I just wanted to bring them up because I think it's ridiculous. They have a lot of Canadian talent. Now they have one of the best young coaches coming out of the AHL, I think it was.
I'd argue that.
Well, he was. No, in the AHL he was.
Oh, no, I mean, I'd argue that how he is good now. I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, I agree. No, but he was one of the best selections that you could take from that league.
Oh, definitely. The Canucks were looking at him, too, right? Like, Tortorella was their second choice.
So I agree with you questioning that, because he's clearly not filling the shoes that were laid out for him. So it's tough in Edmonton right now, and it shouldn't be. There's so much talent on this team. Obviously, they don't have a lot of depth, but if Tampa Bay can do it, and if Colorado can do it, then how are the Oilers not doing it?
That is a question, my friend, that I do not have the answer to. I can't figure that team out either.
Yes, I mean, like, I want to see Jordan Eberle, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Taylor Hall on Team Canada this year, and at this rate, there's no way that's happening.
No. I will. Could I break for a quick second?
Yeah.
So, like, a few days after our show aired, granted, I'm sure they weren't listening, but nevertheless, I was watching TSN, and they brought up, hey, guys, I wonder if Yakupov might get traded to Ottawa for Robin Lehner.
TSN guys, man. Yeah. I don't know. I think I got Bob McKenzie on Twitter on that Bandwagoners feed. I bet you he's checking it out, man.
Yeah, he's stealing our material, man. Screw that guy.
We should talk to him.
We should write them a letter, but actually like a letter on paper and mail it out, because nobody does that anymore, and it'd probably catch them off guard.
And you know what? Actually, on that note, that works. That works. You will get a reply. And my grandma met Bob Gainey when she was at a Canucks game. He was at the elevator, and talked to him and sent him a letter in the mail after that saying, "Oh, thank you for shaking my hand and for being so polite and kind and blah." He sent her back a handwritten letter.
Wow.
In calligraphy. Yeah, it was epic. She's
calligraphy.
Yeah, like in a full pen with like curled writing and everything. Like it was.
Wow.
Yeah, like on like just a lined paper. Like
that would take me like a week to do.
Are you kidding me? I'm just like. And it was Gainey. Like for me, I'm just like, oh, like that's so cool. So,
cool.
We should do that. We should send them a letter. Hey, Bob, you're stealing our material.
A week later, we get the letter back. Please stop writing us letters.
Cease and desist.
It's
going to shut you down.
It's a cease and desist order. It's just Bob McKenzie, Polaroid picture of him giving us the finger.
Oh, man. Now I want that. Now I want to frame that picture. That would be so amazing.
Okay, enough about the Oilers. We know they suck, and they're going to continue sucking. Who else is not doing great? Well, yeah, I want to talk about this because it's so funny. This just and we were talking about it before the show, this just showcases, like, how bizarre the new standings are and how the